Welcome to the Costa Property Podcast, the podcast that turns your dreams of owning a piece of paradise on the Costa del Sol into reality.
I'm Glenn Laurie, and I'm joined by my co-host and wife, Sandra Laurie.
If you're dreaming of your perfect Costa del Sol home, wondering where to start, and want to get real, no-frills expert advice, then you're absolutely in the right place.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Costa Property Podcast. Hello, Sandra. Another beautiful day in the Costa del Sol.
Lucky us, surrounded by sun.
It's amazing. And spring is in the air, so the temperature is just going up a little bit more.
Just reminded me of something. I got asked a question yesterday in a meeting when I asked, how's everybody feeling? And they said, springy. And then the person asked me, is that actually a word in English? I don't know. Is that a word in English? Springy. I feel springy. Not really, no. You wouldn't say that, wouldn't you?
No, I don't think so. Springy.
No.
Cool word. I might start using it myself. Springy.
No, you would know. Struggle to understand your English as it is. We don't need new variations of Glaswegian, Spanglish, invented words. We're good as we are. Just stick to the dictionary, please. Right, what are we talking about today then? I feel like you've got something up your sleeve, like you're conjuring up a spell or something.
Well, you know how you always like to be in control, Sandra? Well, today's going to be different. I'm going to be interviewing you about the 5 favourite things you love about Spain.
Oh, that's fine. Because I love to talk about what I love about Spain, so that's good.
Well, we first do the word of today, the Spanish word of today.
What's your word of the day today, Warner?
I think because we're going to talk about the 5 favourite things you love about Spain, the Spanish word of today will be comida.
The word for food, and absolutely, no doubt, if you're going to be asking me about my favourite things about Spain, I'm going to cover food at some point. So great choice of word. Well, shall we dive in?
Okay, so top 5 things you love about Spain, Sandra. So let's get into number 1.
I love Spanish food. I think it's fair to say that before I moved to Spain, I didn't really appreciate it. Spanish food or Mediterranean diet typically contains a lot of fish. And in Ireland, I didn't tend to eat a lot of fish. I think the first time I tried my favourite Spanish dish, which is gambas pilpil, which is spicy prawns cooked in sizzling hot olive oil. And it's normally served with garlic and chili, and it comes like sizzling to your table. It's amazing. I think the first time I tried that, I actually tried that with you, right? Many, many years ago.
Absolutely. When we were in I think it was our first date, and I call it the food of love, because once you tried the gambas de pilpil, we were in love.
I was in love with the food. Let's clarify that. I think it was actually our second date. So the food, the only thing I was loving at that point was the gambas pilpil. But no, seriously, it's a beautiful dish. It's definitely my favourite Spanish food. It's typically a dish that's popular in the south coast, in the Andalusia area. And it's just gorgeous. I also love when you get fresh bread brought to the table and you just dip it and dunk it into the sizzling oil. It's just gorgeous. But yeah, I love Spanish food. So to clarify, gambas pilpil, if you're in the Costa del Sol and you're in the area, you need to ask for gambas pilpil in one of the local fish restaurants or chiringuitos, because it's unbelievable. That's the favourite one. But also, I would never have eaten something like paella, which, you may be familiar with. It's the big rice dish typically served for more than 2 people. It can come with different variations, meat, fish, chicken, vegetarian. But it wouldn't have been something that I was typically liked before I moved to Spain. And I think it's something that I started to try a little bit later on in our life in Spain, when the kids started going to school, and they obviously have school dinners in school. Typical, they have paella once a week, and they started to really love it. It's kind of like your granny's favourite dish, isn't it? Every restaurant maybe has its own secret recipe or variation of it, but I do really enjoy paella as well. Typically, you'll find a lot of fish, fried fish, actually, as well. In terms of Spanish food, I would say to people, be open-minded, try it. That's part of the fun. It is going to be different to the type of food that you have back home. You're not going to get, the same type of dinners that you are used to getting at home, but that's the good part about it. So be open-minded to try it. The likelihood of it is that you will really, really enjoy it. croquetas. Start with croquetas if you want to even think about starting somewhere. Croquettes, typically bread crumbed inside different fillings with bechamel sauce, maybe hamon. You can get spinach, different variations. You can even just get cheese ones. Start there if you feel like you want to be a little bit safer, but you want to try something.
Sandra, you're making me hungry.
I know I'm starving. I haven't had my breakfast yet.
No, but the food in the Mediterranean, especially the Costa del Sol, the restaurants, the chiringuitos, when you come on holiday, please go and visit one and just get the ambience of eating and dipping your bread and sharing the food. It's amazing.
I totally agree. Right. Hit me with your next question.
Okay, so that was number one. So now what's the second favourite thing you love about Spain, Sandra?
Well, I think if we were talking about food, what do I always like to have with my food? A nice glass of wine. So the second thing I would say that I really appreciate about Spain is Spanish wines. Verdejos, Ruedas, Albariños, there's so many genuinely associated with the different regions throughout Spain. Malaga is typically associated with Moscatel wine, I believe, which is to me, it's too sweet. I really appreciate the kind of semi-secos, dry seco is the word for dry wine in Spain. So I typically appreciate a more dry type of wine. So, definitely check out Spanish wines. So they are always cheaper than the wines that you might be used to ordering. Like if you're maybe familiar with like a pinot grigio or something, you're definitely going to get a equally good, if not better, Spanish wine on the menu for a significantly reduced cost. Always ask the local restaurant. They usually will have a really good Spanish house wine, which will go with, most of their kind of signature dishes. They will always make a good recommendation, and it's definitely worth trying. So yeah, definitely appreciate wine. What I would say, the cost of wine in Spain, I think I've mentioned that already. You can go to like a good bar or restaurant, but particularly, by the seafront, and you're expecting to pay between €3 and €4 for a very good glass of wine. So really spoiled in that terms. What else? So, we're talking about wine. I think it's fair to mention vineyards. You will find some vineyards even around Costa del Sol. So a little bit more inland, we have a town called Ronda, and there are some stunning vineyards there where you'll find some small producers where you can do like a tour of their property, try their wine. We did that experience ourselves 3 years ago, and I think it was definitely one of the most enjoyable days out that you and I have actually had in Spain. So yeah, I would definitely encourage that. So if you're in the area, check out the local vineyards. But if you can't, progress that far because you're only here for a short period of time, just be sure that you try the local wines in the local bars and restaurants, because from a quality, taste and price perspective, they're superior than what you would get back home. So Spanish wine gets a big thumbs up from me. Personally, my favorite Spanish wine is a Verdejo. But, they're all good. Albariño, Rueda, all great. I'm personally a white, I should say that I'm personally prefer white wines, but, the red wines or the rosé wines are all very good as well.
And that was an amazing experience. That's one of the hot ones that you wanted to do when you came to Spain, was visit a vineyard, wasn't it?
A vineyard, yeah. Not a vineyard.
Sorry, a vineyard. And then we went in.
There we go, Warner's English.
We went into the vineyard. we went into there, and it was just a normal family, and they invited us in, and then they took us around, all the different wines and everything else.
It was incredible. So they served us, their home-produced food complemented by their beautiful wine. So it was an amazing day in the sunshine, in the countryside, wine, cheese. What more could you ask for? Just like up there with one of my all-time favorite days.
Number 2 was your favorite wine. Let's go to number 3.
Number 3 would be visiting new towns. So towns and villages. I love to explore new places and new pueblos. Pueblo is like the word for like a village or a small town. My personal favorite is Ronda. So I mentioned Ronda earlier when we were talking about the wine, about 50, 60 minutes inland from Malaga. It's absolutely stunning. It's famous for this incredible bridge that connects both sides of the town together. It's full of history. It's definitely worthwhile taking one of the historical tours of the town and really learning about the town in more detail. Beautiful restaurants, lovely couple streets, small town, great hotels, just an amazing place to explore, spend a couple of days and sit and people watch. What I would say to be careful is it gets very hot in summertime. The heat is stifling, but other than that, there's absolutely no negatives about the place. It's really, really beautiful.
I've had very happy memories there because we had our honeymoon there as well, Sandra, and the main hotel in the centre.
Yeah, we have lovely memories of there. It's really, really beautiful. It's definitely worth a visit. Okay, so Ronda is definitely up there with my number one recommendation of places to visit. I always tell everybody if they are, in the mood for exploring away from the coastline and see a little bit more of real Spain inland, go to Ronda. Nerja, I think most people have heard of Nerja. It's very, very popular these days with Spanish or Irish weddings, actually. I mean, lots of Irish visitors there each year, as well as, many, many, many other nationalities. But I've noticed lately it's definitely hot on the list for Irish weddings. So Nerja, it's spelled Neorja. In Spain, J is pronounced as H. So we say Nerja. Nerja is really famous for caves. It has these absolutely stunning caves that you can actually do a tour of. It is just a beautiful place. It's really popular for water sports, surfing. What did you and Oliver do actually there last June, Warner?
We went parasailing. Oliver's birthday was coming up, so he said, Dad, can I do that? And I said, yeah, okay. So we went parasailing, which was an amazing experience.
Exactly. And, there's just so much water sports and activities that you can avail of there if you are a little bit of a person who likes to go on a bit of an adventure. The beaches are gorgeous if you fancy just a day on the beach. And the restaurants are really, really... We went in June last year with friends. We thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, about 60 minutes from Malaga Airport. Malaga City, of course, in my personal opinion, one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen in the world. And they've put so much investment into making the city stunning. Of course, you visit Larios Street, which is the main street through the centre of the city, which is just incredible. The architecture is exquisite. Malaga City has the most incredible cathedral. It has a beautiful port. You have Soho District, which is really popular with really funky bars, restaurants, cocktail bars, incredibly well known for its shopping, but also the Malaga Christmas lights, which are available each year from, I think, end of November right up until second week in January. People just gather beneath the lights and watch the show, and it's really special. It's beautiful to just go and see on your own or go with friends and family and get into the festive spirit. Of course, Malaga is the home of Pablo Picasso, so you can go and see, if you are into art or you just want to explore the museums, you can go and learn all about Picasso. You can even see the house where he was born. Another child of Malaga is Antonio Banderas, so you can also go and visit some of his bars and restaurants. He owned a number of them. One of them is the oldest bar in Malaga, which is called El Pimpi. It's definitely worth a visit. So loads to do in Malaga, but just a bit of a different day out. It's more of a city day out. You can get to Malaga City very, very easily by train from Benalmádena, from Torremolinos, or even by bus. It's an easy and super cheap way to get to the city. But yeah, great place to visit. And we love to go there multiple times through the year just to take a little trip around and see what's going on, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Malaga City is beautiful. It's so clean. And, there's always loads to do there.
Yeah. Of course, Marbella, you have Puerto Banús for people who maybe want to experience Puerto Banús. Puerto Banús has always been typically associated with celebrities and that very high-end lifestyle. It's, for me, worth a day trip to say you've seen it, tick it off the box. Personally, I would prefer a day exploring Malaga City, but, Puerto Banús is definitely worth a trip. If we're down that end, then towards Marbella, it's worth continuing on to Estepona, which is an absolutely stunning town. It boasts the gorgeous port. Again, very, very clean town, stunning restaurants. They have also put a lot of investment into the town, really upgrading the pavements, street. So yeah, it's worth a trip to Estepona as well. And I think finally, let's not forget the small villages and pueblos like Mijas Pueblo, Mijas, Mijas, J pronounced as H, and of course our favorite, which is Benalmádena Pueblo, which is actually where we got married. It's a beautiful sleepy village where there's actually nothing better to do than just sit in one of the little plazas, have a glass of wine, have some green olives and people watch and just relax and take in the surroundings.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're coming here, then Benalmádena Pueblo is a must to go up and visit.
It's absolutely stunning. And do visit the little church in the centre of the town. And that's where we had our wedding day all those years ago.
Happiest day of my life.
Definitely worth a trip up there. So what else have you got for me?
Okay, Sandra, what's your favourite thing? Number 4.
Number 4 for me would be being able to participate in the ferias and festivals and really immerse in the culture. So, soon it's going to be Semana Santa, which is Saints Week, which is basically Easter. So the celebration of Easter week is a very big deal here, whether you're religious or not, right? It's really a time for families to come together and immerse themselves in tradition and celebrations. You will see a lot of parades on the streets where religious figures are brought through the streets and the people come out and see their local parish and community bring these parades to life. It's usually accompanied by beautiful music and whether you're religious or not, as I say, touching to really observe families, all generations from, grandparents down to tiny little grandchildren walking in these parades together to support their community. And there's something really special about that. So the Festival of San Juan, which, takes place June 23rd. It's typical to see families, large groups gathered together on the beach. You'd also see fireworks. It really signifies the start of summer, with summer is calling. So there tends to be a lot of anticipation, excitement in the air on June 23rd. It's definitely one to pop along, sit on the beach, enjoy the fireworks and watch families, groups of friends, appreciate the change in the seasons and that summer's on its way. Christmas is lovely here, but Christmas is not celebrated in the traditional way of December 25th that we would be accustomed to in maybe Ireland and the UK and other parts of the world. December 24th, Christmas Eve, is a special evening where families do gather together and have a beautiful meal. But Spanish Christmas is typically celebrated in the beginning of January with what's called the Three Kings. So the Three Kings, who are, symbolizing bringing their gifts to baby Jesus, they are the ones who are bringing all the beautiful gifts to the children to celebrate their Christmas in Spain. But, there's so many things around ferias, festivals, culture, traditions. I just love them all. I love them all. And I love how seriously all of the traditions are taken in Spanish society.
Yeah, it's absolutely. San Juan's my favourite time of the year, going to the beach early, getting round with family and friends, and then at midnight going into the sea and seeing the fireworks, the celebration and fireworks. So now we're coming to number 5. Okay, Sandra, what's the 5th favourite thing about living in the Costa del Sol?
Well, I guess to summarize, it's just really new experiences. So there's so much on our doorstep. There's so much available to us. There's so much to participate in, to take advantage of. But when I say new experiences, if you are a museum goer, you can go to Malaga and, as I mentioned earlier, visit the Picasso Museum. If you're not into that and you like to be outdoors a bit more and enjoy nature and, the countryside and really take in the outdoors, there's great routes for hiking. You can do so much hiking in the area. And I guess speaking about that, then it's fair to mention the lakes. So there is a famous or a well-known lake area, a little bit more inland, again, about 50 minutes from the coast, 40, 50 minutes from the coast, called El Chorro. And when you're up that way, you can also visit the Camino del Rey and, really do some adventurous things while being outside. So I think, new experiences, you're never short of things to do. There is something for everyone. There is something for, individuals, groups that are coming together to, have a weekend as friends, couples who want to take the area on their own. There's just so much to do. We are really spoiled for choice. So number 5, Warner, would be, the ability to have new experiences. We're never short of things to do living here on the Costa del Sol.
What about your favourite thing, shopping? Is there a lot of shopping areas?
Yeah, there's loads. Malaga City, of course. There's La Cañada down towards Marbella, which is a big shopping centre. There's Plaza Mayor, which has the most gorgeous MacArthur's Glen, where you can avail of all of the beautiful brands and designer brands in a designer outlet at discounted prices.
Yeah, we're extremely lucky that actually we live in paradise.
I totally agree with you with that. And I travel a lot with the work that I do outside of WL Costa Properties. I travel, I'm very blessed that I travel, to a lot of countries in Europe, and I see a lot of places which are all beautiful, and I feel very blessed that I get to experience that. But I always come back and say the same thing to you, that there's nothing as beautiful as the Costa del Sol. There is no city nicer than Malaga, or what Malaga has to offer, or what we can experience along this coastline. So maybe I'm a bit biased, I don't know, but that's my genuine opinion. And I feel that I have a lot to compare it to with the traveling that I do, visiting other big cities and seeing different new places. So for me, I would never live anywhere else.
No, exactly. And then when we want a night away from the kids, the listeners will find it funny that we actually go to Benalmádena or to Torremolinos just to get away and be a tourist for the night.
Yeah, but it's amazing to have the ability to be able to do that. So yeah, as I say, feel very blessed, can't get my words out this morning, blessed, privileged to call this beautiful coast home. And again, my 5 things are food, try the gambas pil, immerse yourself in Spanish wine, go to a restaurant, ask the waiter, can you try the local Spanish house wine, red or white, whatever you're into, whatever floats your boat. Number 3, visit towns and villages, go to Ronda, go to Nerja, go to Malaga City, go to the Pueblos, go wherever you want, but take the time to really see the different places you'll fall in love. Experience some of the culture and traditions if you can. Check out, what's happening in the area when I'm visiting. And if you have the opportunity to observe even some of the religious processions, if you're not religious, you'll just learn a little bit more about what makes this place so special. And number 5 for me, it's just, we have access to so much if you want to go canoeing on the lakes in El Charro, to climbing rocks in the Camino del Rey, to shopping in Malaga City, to visiting Picasso's house or museum. You can do it. There is so much at our disposal. So Warner, I hope you've enjoyed my 5 favourite things about living on the Costa del Sol.
Yeah, I've loved it. And I totally agree with everything. Your 5 favourite things are probably my 5 favourite things as well.
Good stuff. Well, I hope the listeners have enjoyed, and I'd love to hear if people have listened and gone and experienced some of the places that we've mentioned, to contact us and tell us about, what they have enjoyed, because we love to hear your feedback. If you haven't yet followed us on Instagram, please do. The Instagram handle is WL Costa Properties, or check out the website, www.wlcostaproperties.net. You will find a hub of resources on the website, like the buyer's guide, seller's guide, blogs from Warner, information about the local property market, whatever you want. It's a hub of value for you to support you as you start to immerse yourself on your journey of buying or selling your property. So we hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Subscribe if you haven't already done it on Spotify, and keep sending us your feedback. We are feeling very blessed and happy with the feedback that we have received so far. So thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for listening into today's episode on the Costa Property Podcast. Another fantastic episode learning about the highs and lows of relocating to the Costa del Sol from real people who have been through the journey themselves, and of course our wonderful experts. If you have been enjoying the show so far, remember to hit subscribe to the podcast and leave a rating or review.
We absolutely love hearing your thoughts. Please send any questions that you would like us to answer on the show to warner@WLCostaProperties.net, or you can pop us a message on our socials, which are in the show notes. Remember, you can also visit the website, www.WLCostaProperties.net.
See you on the next episode, and bye for now.
Bye-bye.